I'm Kathy Crow, Associate Dean at the University Libraries, and we are here today with Kyle Pope, who is the winner of the 2015 University Libraries Undergraduate Research Award. Kyle's paper was called Light Bulb Moment, Electricity in the YWCA Scrapbook, which he wrote for History 430, Historical Research Methods for Social Studies. Dr. Lisa Tolbert from the History Department was his professor. The Library's Undergraduate Research Award is given each year in recognition of an outstanding undergraduate research project by an individual or group that best demonstrates the ability to locate, select, and synthesize information from library resources and use those resources in the creation of an original research project in any media. And the winner receives a cash prize of $500 funded by the University Libraries. So congratulations, Kyle.
Thank you very much.
Well, first let me ask you how you got interested in your topic of light bulbs.
Well, I was assigned to do research in the University Archives, and part of that research entailed looking at a scrapbook, the YWCA scrapbook, and it was dated 1915 to 1917. As I opened up the scrapbook and began looking through it, there were several photographs, which are to be expected, of the members on various retreats throughout the years. And in the middle, there was this very bizarre page that was a contrast to the rest of the scrapbook. It contained clippings instead of photographs, and they all seemed to be based around electricity, specifically the electric light bulb. And it seemed so strange to me that I said, I have to find out what's going on here. I want to know what this page is about and what it's doing in this scrapbook.
So tell us a little bit about your research and why you think it's significant.
I took kind of a three-pronged approach with my research. I looked at early university history when it was a state normal and industrial college. I looked at rural electrification within North Carolina, and then I looked at kind of the social impact on this new technology spreading across the United States. I think it's significant because it kind of gives us insight into what one person's experience was with seeing this technology for the first time. And so that just seemed really interesting to me. You know, as I walked in here today, I didn't pay any attention to the lights above us because it's become so commonplace. But 100 years ago, when the scrapbook is made, that probably would have been the first thing that I noticed. So I think that it's just interesting to have that insight on this, you know, edge of modernity as she saw it.
Yeah, and the perspective from one person, from a student, as she have new experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Is really interesting. Well, while you were doing your research, what kinds of library resources did you find most helpful in addition to the scrapbook itself?
I did a lot of looking within the archives, you know, various bins. The YWCA, they had the yearbook from 1917 in there. I looked at various research databases, specifically WorldCat, the library stacks for hard copies, and actually the university digital archives were extremely helpful to me, especially the photographs.
Were there any specific databases or resources that you found the most useful?
But going back to the photographs, I had a hard time pinning down through documentation when electricity came to the university. You know, there wasn't a work receipt or a work order to find. And so I really had to use the photographs to figure that out. Look at a building in 1900 versus looking at a building in 1910. And I used the photographs within the database for that, and they were at such a high quality that I could zoom into these, you know, something that's normally this large and the picture is now huge, and I can say that's a gas fixture or that's an electric fixture, and be able to really narrow down when the university started to have electricity.
Yes, very interesting. Well, I know you're going to be a teacher, so do you think that the research skills you learned and used for this paper will help you, and do you have any ideas at this point of how you might apply them to your teaching?
In my student teaching over the previous semester, we did some very basic research. And in that, we worked a lot on vetting resources. What makes a good resource? You know, is it factual? Is it relevant? You know, these types of things. So in coming through this research process and learning from it, and I was able to in turn teach others, how to do some similar basic research. So I would like to expand on that in the future. When I'm in a classroom for a full semester, and work on a much larger project with more in-depth research.
Well, Kyle, do you have any tips for students who might want to apply for this award in the future?
I would say use university personnel.
Okay.
Two specifically that I'd like to mention is Kathleen Smith in the archives. She helped me out very much locate sources. And Dr. Lisa Tolbert, who you mentioned earlier, who really let me know what resources we had to use and gave me tips on a keyword search. It's not like Google when you're trying to find an academic paper.
Right.
And,
different search techniques.
Exactly. And so, she gave me so much insight on how to do that and do it correctly and efficiently. So.
Anything else you want to add about your project or your experiences?
I really just like to say thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a difficult but rewarding experience at the same time, and it's wonderful to get an award for something that I truly enjoy doing. So thank you for the opportunity.